Imagine gaining time on your rivals not at the braking zone, not in the straight, but in the one place almost nobody notices until it's too late. The corner exit, the moment where races are silently won and championships quietly decided. This is where Max Verstappen turns Formula One into a slow-motion nightmare for everyone else. Because while others are still fighting wheel spin, correcting slides, or begging their tyres for mercy, Max is already gone. And tonight, we're breaking down why Max Verstappen's corner exit speed is the most lethal weapon on the grid, and why it's the reason nobody can stay with him over a full race distance. Most fans think lap time is made under braking. Some think it's about bravery through the apex, but the truth, the uncomfortable truth, is that corner exits decide everything. Exit speed controls the straight that follows, it controls DRS range, it controls overtakes, it controls tyre life. Max Verstappen, he doesn't just exit corners faster, he exits them cleaner, calmer and earlier than anyone else in modern Formula One. Here's the scary part, he does it without drama. No wild corrections, no obvious slides, no visible struggle. And that's exactly why rivals underestimate it, until the timing screens start bleeding red. Max's dominance on corner exit starts long before the throttle is even pressed. It begins with positioning. While many drivers focus on hitting the perfect apex, Max prioritizes the next 200 meters. He's willing to sacrifice a fraction mid-corner if it means the car is perfectly aligned on exit. That means straighter steering, less lateral load on the rear tires, and, most importantly, earlier throttle application. And in Formula One, earlier throttle is king. Telemetry comparisons from recent seasons consistently show Verstappen getting back to full throttle earlier than his rivals, sometimes by 2 or 3 tenths of a second per corner. That might sound small. It isn't. Over a lap, it's devastating. Over a race, it's fatal. And here's where physics starts bending in his favour. When a driver applies throttle on corner exit, the rear tyres are already under immense stress. They're dealing with lateral load, weight transfer, and temperature sensitivity. Most drivers hesitate. They feed the throttle gently, afraid of wheel spin. Max doesn't hesitate, but he also doesn't rush. His throttle control is progressive, not aggressive. The input is smooth, linear, and perfectly matched to available grip. It's why his rear tyres rarely light up the way others do, and it's why he carries speed onto the straight while others are still recovering. Quick pause. If you're still watching, congratulations. You're officially deeper into racing theory than half the paddock. Do yourself a favour and hit subscribe right now. It costs nothing, unlike Red Bull's wind tunnel bill. Go on. I'll wait. Done? Good. Let's continue ruining lap times. Now let's talk about car rotation, because this is where Max really separates himself. Verstappen rotates the car before the apex, not at it. That early rotation means the car is already pointed toward the exit when throttle comes in. Less steering angle equals more traction. More traction equals earlier power. Earlier power equals gap opened. This isn't guesswork, it's visible in onboard footage and backed by data engineers have openly discussed. This technique also reduces tyre degradation. Less steering correction means less scrubbing. Less scrubbing means lower surface temperatures, and lower temperatures mean consistent grip late in stints. That's why Verstappen often looks just as fast on lap 40 as he did on lap 5, while rivals suddenly lose pace and nobody can quite explain why. But wait, here's the part nobody talks about. Max doesn't just manage his own corner exits, he controls his rivals' exits too. By placing his car precisely on corner entry and apex, he forces others into compromised lines. Wider exits, tighter steering, delayed throttle. And once that happens, the battle is already over. Because even if they stay close through the corner, Max's exit speed slingshots him out of DRS range before the next braking zone. That's not defense. That's psychological warfare. Think about this. How many times have you seen a driver stick with Max through a technical section only to mysteriously lose 3 tenths by the next straight? That's exit speed. That's Max. And it gets worse in dirty air. Most drivers struggle to put power down when following another car closely. Turbulence disrupts rear stability. Grip becomes unpredictable. Verstappen, however, adapts instantly. He short shifts when needed, adjusts throttle curves corner by corner, and maintains exit speed even in traffic. That's why overtakes against him feel rare, and overtakes by him feel inevitable. Here's a question for you. Genuinely think about it. When was the last time you saw Max lose a position purely because of a bad corner exit? Exactly. Now let's inject some fear into the equation, because once rivals realize they can't match his exits, they start overdriving. They push throttle earlier than their tyres allow. They induce wheel spin. They overheat rears. And suddenly, the gap grows even faster. Max doesn't just win races with speed, he wins them by forcing mistakes without touching anyone. That's dominance. And yes, the car matters. Of course it does, but here's the uncomfortable truth teams don't like admitting. Verstappen extracts exit performance others can't replicate in the same machinery. Former teammates have openly stated they had to change their entire driving style just to understand where Max was gaining time, and still couldn't match it. Because this isn't about bravery, it's about precision. Max understands traction limits intuitively. He senses grip before it disappears. That allows him to ride the absolute edge of wheel spin without crossing it. And that fine line, that's where races are decided. Small reminder, smash the like button if you've ever yelled, "How did he pull that gap?" at your screen. You're among friends here. Now here comes the cliffhanger, because corner exit speed doesn't just win races, it breaks strategies. When Max exits corners faster, he stretches stints. He keeps tyres alive, he delays pit windows. That forces rivals into early stops, defensive strategies, and compromised race plans. By mid-race, teams aren't racing Verstappen anymore, they're reacting to him. And that reaction is always late. This is why undercuts fail against him. This is why overcuts don't work. This is why even when he's not leading early, he somehow ends up controlling the race by lap 20. So the question becomes unavoidable. If Max Verstappen is this efficient on corner exit, if he preserves tyres better, if he applies power earlier and cleaner, how do you beat him? That's the terrifying part. You don't, unless regulations fundamentally change the physics of traction, power delivery, and car rotation. And even then, history suggests he adapts faster than anyone else. Which brings us to the final realization. Max Verstappen doesn't win races with one spectacular corner. He wins them with every corner, quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. His corner exit speed isn't flashy, it's surgical, and that's why it's unstoppable. So here's my question to you, and I want your answer in the comments. Is Max Verstappen the most complete driver Formula One has ever produced, or is there someone in history who truly matched this level of efficiency? And if you want to go even deeper, my next video breaks down how Max Verstappen's braking technique allows him to stop later without lockups. Another reason rivals never get close enough to attack. Click the video on screen right now. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, where speed meets science and Formula One gets exposed.